Hello everybody and welcome back to yet another Eternal News episode, as promised with the next mechanic reveal that just dropped, Exalted. But before we dive in, you know the drill, hit the subscribe button, turn on notification icon to not miss out on future content. And now let's check it out. Okay, the article just dropped like literally 10 minutes ago or so. New mechanic. Exalted is a keyword in Magic, but this works pretty different. So let's see. First example is Ardent Convert, just a common. It's a 1-cost, 1/1 with Exalted. What does Exalted do? Exalted means basically it's an sort of an end-tomb trigger. If the unit dies, it transfers all of its stats and battle skills onto a unit of your choice in form of a weapon. So if this dies, you get to put a 1/1 weapon on a unit. But if this is bigger, the time it dies, for example, even with temporary effects like Finest Hour, it transfers a bigger weapon. Like if you Finest Hour this and it dies in combat, you can put a 4/4 weapon on the unit. The Exalted is a battle skill, but during the Exalted trigger, it doesn't transfer. But if the unit already has Exalted or gets Exalted afterwards, it can transfer the stats gained by the last Exalted weapon and so on and so forth. But yeah, the Exalted doesn't transfer with all the other battle skills, because otherwise it would just chain, and that's not what they want. Yeah, this is basically a draft card, and even in draft probably too bad, so a pretty poor example of the mechanic. Next we have Longtail Cavalry, and another pretty weak example even for limited, I think, because I mean it's basically a delayed 5-cost +2/+1 flying weapon, which is not great, really not great. Sure, it comes with a body and all. Like, it's probably gonna be fine as like a filler, as like an okay playable in limited, but it still doesn't seem great. But sure, exalting on like a big ground guy with this seems pretty nice, so it might just make it. And it's another unseen, and it's another Kirin, so here we see the Kirin a bit better, so it's kind of like a horse, lion, like a Pegasus lion, whatever thing. They are kind of interesting. We'll see more of them in the set, I'm sure. Then we have a spell, Dramatic Exit, give one of your units +4 attack and Exalted, sacrifice it at the end of the turn. So basically it gives you one big attack and then exalts onto something else. Seems pretty bad, honestly. Very expensive too. Not a big fan. Very constructed, unplayable. Maybe fine in limited, but still not that great. I think it's just a huge cost and investment of a card to gain the effect, and not really worth what you're investing, I think, more often than not. Next we have Daring Griffin. This is a 4-cost 3/2 flying Reckless Exalted. The Reckless is a bit iffy, like they are Titans and stuff, so, or just like bigger flyers, so there's a potential of this just running itself dead. When the enemy player plays a spell, sacrifice Daring Griffin to negate it, so it has the same ability as the 3-drop Pioneer. But here it comes with the benefit of Exalted, but I would assume it's not much better than the 3-drop in the end, simply because Reckless is problematic. Reckless on the unit you exalt onto is also not great, because Reckless is a battle skill, so it will be transferred. And yeah, the opponent can just trade like a Seek power against it that he doesn't need anymore, for example, and so on. So yeah, not a big fan, for example, and then they just use a real removal on the unit you exalt onto if it's relevant. Just seems a bit underwhelming. Not pushed enough, if you ask me. And last but not least, we have another dragon, Carved Solar Dragon, the 6-cost 4/5, that's flying on and lifesteal, and gives all your cultists Exalted. Interesting to know that cultists are kind of related to dragons, apparently, maybe like kind of dragon cultists. And yeah, on summon you play a 1/1 cultist for each different name among your dragons. So at least one, possibly more. I want to push Dragon Tribal a bit more. The Nightmare and the Dragon. Not that Nightmare is particularly relevant, but maybe it will be at some point. And it also has Mastery, another one of the new mechanics. Gives all your cultists +3/+3, giving you kind of a nice package here. Seems fairly strong. It's a bit expensive for the stats. You probably want like multiple cultists and hope you get this triggered. So all in all, if you compare it to like what other constructed 6-drops do in currently, I'm not too sure how this is gonna stack up. It could be decent, it could just be too weak. I'm not 100% sure. So yeah, Exalted, an okay mechanic. It's just basically a modified Entomb thing. I feel a bit like some of these mechanics are a bit uninspired this set, but we'll see how they're gonna play out and if they're more interesting than they seem to me. I'm just not that excited. They just, yeah, I mean, this is, you can not really do that much with it. Sure, you can kind of like make your unit better when it's about to die to get like a, with Finest Hour, for example, to get like a permanent effect out of it. Stuff like that. There are a couple of small neat interactions, or like trigger Renown with the weapon from the Exalted and stuff like that. But all in all, it doesn't seem like there is a whole lot of play to the mechanic. And most of the examples or like all of the examples we've seen here are either bad or not that great. Like the two dragons might be something, but they both seem a bit underpowered. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about the cards and the mechanic, as usual. And that's gonna be it again for now. I'll be gone for like 2 weeks, so I assume the set might drop in those 2 weeks, so my review will have to wait until I'm back in a bit more than 2 weeks. But yeah, so no content until then. And if you enjoy the content, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification icon to not miss out the content when I'm back. And as usual, put the article in the description. You can also find more ways to support me and my content in the description, or to catch me live on Twitch. And a great way that is completely free to help support the content is make sure to whitelist YouTube on your adblock, or just turn off your adblock when watching YouTube content or watching Twitch streams. That really helps all the creators that you enjoy and watch, and doesn't cost you anything other than having to like sit through the ads occasionally, and that would really mean a lot for us creators. That's it again for this time. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm your host ManuS, and I'll see you next time.